The desert of Khmer stretched endlessly under the blazing sun. Golden sand rolled like waves across the horizon, and the wind carried tiny sparks of heat that made the air shimmer. Nabil stood on a small rise, shielding his eyes with one hand. He could barely see the rest of his team as they moved slowly through the dunes. Each step sank slightly into the soft sand, and the heat made every movement tiring. Nabil was not an ordinary explorer. He had spent most of his life studying ancient civilizations, learning their secrets, and following myths that most people dismissed as stories. Today, he carried a small metal detector, a notebook, and a worn map that had been passed down from his mentor. The map showed a region of the desert where few people had ever dared to go. According to legends, a hidden tomb waited there, something the local villagers whispered about in fearful tones. They called it the Ship of the Dead. "Do you really believe it exists, Nabil?" asked Amir, one of the younger members of the team. His voice was soft, but the wind carried it easily across the sand. Nabil smiled, brushing sand from his notebook. "I do. Legends always have a seed of truth. If we look carefully, we might find it." The team moved forward slowly. Each hour felt the same. The sun climbed higher, and the sand seemed to stretch forever. They measured their steps, marked positions with small flags, and checked their instruments constantly. Nabil's mind wandered as he walked. He imagined the ship buried beneath layers of sand. He thought of golden walls, of strange hieroglyphs glowing in torchlight, and of treasures that no human had seen in thousands of years. Suddenly, a shout came from the edge of the team. "Sir, I think I found something." It was Layla, the geologist. Her face was flushed from the heat, but her eyes sparkled with excitement. She was pointing to a slight depression in the sand, almost invisible. Nabil ran toward her. As he knelt, he saw a dark line cutting across the sand. It was not natural. The wind had shifted the top layer of dunes, revealing a long, straight structure underneath. Nabil's heart raced. He could see a corner of something enormous, carved from stone and worn by centuries. The shape looked like the bow of a giant ship, but there was no water for miles. Only sand surrounded it. He called the team over. Everyone stared in awe. "This is it," Nabil said quietly. "The Ship of the Dead." The group began carefully brushing away the sand. Every scoop revealed more of the structure. Strange symbols appeared on the walls, unlike anything Nabil had seen before. Some looked like birds, some like stars, and others seemed to form patterns he could not yet understand. He ran his fingers over the carvings, feeling the cold stone beneath. "This is amazing," whispered Amir. "It looks like it has been here forever." "It has," said Nabil. "And it has been waiting for us." The team worked quickly, but carefully. Each hour uncovered more of the ship's shape. The hull was massive, wider than a modern building, and it stretched deep into the sand. It had doors carved with strange mechanisms, and walls that shimmered faintly in the sunlight. Nabil felt a thrill of fear and excitement at the same time. He had seen ancient ruins before, but nothing like this. By the late afternoon, they had cleared enough sand to reveal a large entrance. The doors were massive stone slabs, covered in carvings. Nabil ran his hands over the symbols. He traced the lines slowly, memorizing the shapes. Some symbols pulsed faintly under his touch, as if responding to him. "Sir," Layla said, pointing to a section of the wall. "Look at this. It looks like a key, but it is not like anything I have studied." Nabil nodded. "It is some kind of ancient mechanism. If we are careful, we might be able to open it without damage." The team prepared torches and ropes. Nabil stepped forward and pressed his hand against the stone. There was a low hum. The ground beneath their feet vibrated slightly. The door moved slowly, revealing darkness inside. A rush of cool air came out, smelling of dust and old stone. The team froze, staring into the darkness. It was silent. It was cold. It was alive with history. Nabil took a deep breath and stepped inside. The walls glowed faintly with strange carvings, and the air felt electric. As their torches lit the interior, the team saw rows of chambers, filled with objects that seemed both familiar and alien. Golden statues lined the walls, some shaped like humans, others like animals they had never seen. Nabil's mind raced. How had humans of the past created something so advanced? This is more than a tomb, Nabil said quietly. It is a machine, a city, a ship. Something far beyond anything we know. They moved forward cautiously, examining the carvings and chambers. Some rooms seemed empty, but others held treasures that defied explanation. Gems, metals that glowed faintly, and devices that hummed without power. Nabil realized that this ship was not built for burial alone. It had a purpose, something they could not yet understand. As night fell over the desert, the team set up camp inside the ship. Nabil could not sleep. He sat in the glow of his torch, staring at the carvings and imagining what lay deeper inside. Every corner seemed to pulse with energy, as if the ship were alive. Layla sat beside him. "Do you think it will wake up?" she asked quietly. Nabil smiled faintly. "I don't know. But whatever it is, it has waited a long time for humans to find it. And now, it is our turn to discover its secrets." Outside, the desert wind blew gently across the dunes, whispering like voices from the past. Inside, the ship waited silently, as if it knew the explorers had arrived. Nabil felt a shiver run down his spine. This was the beginning of a journey that would change everything they thought about humans, history, and the universe. The first night inside the ship passed with a strange quiet. The explorers slept in small groups, but the air inside felt alive, almost watching them. Nabil could not sleep. He walked slowly through the chambers, his torchlight flickering across the walls. The carvings seemed to move in the shadows, like they were shifting when no one looked directly at them. He could feel the hum of the ship beneath his feet. Suddenly, a soft glow appeared from one of the far chambers. Nabil froze, listening. It was not the glow of his torch. It pulsed gently, like a heartbeat. He called quietly to Layla and Amir, who had joined him in the first chamber. Their faces were pale but curious. "What is it?" Amir whispered. "I do not know," Nabil said, moving forward slowly. "But we will find out." The three of them walked together, stepping carefully over stones and ancient mechanisms. The glow grew brighter as they approached a large hall. The walls here were covered in symbols unlike anything they had seen before. They glowed softly, as if reacting to their presence. Nabil felt a shiver of excitement and fear. "This is incredible," Layla said, reaching out to touch the wall. Her fingers hovered just above the carvings, and suddenly, the symbols lit up under her touch. Lines of light spread across the walls like a web. The hum of the ship grew louder, filling the air with a vibrating energy. Nabil stepped back. "It is alive," he whispered. "It reacts to us." Suddenly, the floor beneath them trembled. A section of the wall slid silently to the side, revealing a hidden chamber. Inside, a strange device floated above the ground. It was shaped like a small pyramid, but it rotated slowly and emitted a soft blue light. Nabil stepped closer, his hand trembling slightly. This is technology," he said, amazed. "This is not just a tomb. It is something more. Something powerful." Amir leaned forward, studying the device. "Do you think it is dangerous?" Nabil shook his head slowly. "I do not know. But we need to be careful." Layla noticed a pattern of symbols on the floor leading toward the device. She traced them with her finger. "Look at this. It is like a map or a set of instructions." Nabil studied the pattern carefully. "It might tell us how to activate it safely," he said. Or how to communicate with whatever built this ship. The three explorers followed the symbols, moving slowly. As they approached the device, the blue light intensified. A low hum filled the chamber, vibrating through their bodies. Nabil held his hand just above the device, and suddenly, a beam of light shot upward, forming a holographic image in the air. They gasped. Before them floated figures of humans, but unlike any humans they had ever seen. Their skin shimmered like gold, and their eyes glowed with soft light. They were dressed in robes covered with strange symbols. Nabil realized these must be the ancient humans who had built the ship, long ago. The figures spoke in a language the explorers could not understand. The sound was musical and strange, but the device translated it into simple words. Humans of the future. You have found what was hidden. You are the first to enter the ship of the dead since its creation. You must prove your worth to learn its secrets. Amir took a step back. Prove our worth? How do we do that? The golden figures did not answer with words, but the room changed. Walls shifted, revealing new paths and chambers. Each passage was filled with challenges, puzzles, mechanisms, and strange energy fields. Nabil understood that this was a test. The ship would not give its secrets to just anyone. It demanded intelligence, courage, and careful thought. The first challenge was a door covered with rotating symbols. Layla examined it carefully. It looks like a puzzle. We need to match the symbols in the right order. Nabil studied the symbols. These are constellations. They tell a story. We need to arrange them as the story goes. They worked together, turning each symbol carefully. Each correct movement caused the hum to grow louder. After several tense minutes, the door clicked and slid open. Beyond it lay a chamber filled with strange crystals glowing with soft light. These crystals, they are alive, Layla said. They react to us, just like the ship. Nabil nodded. The ship is a system. Everything inside it is connected. We must understand it carefully. As they explored the chamber, another glow appeared. This one was brighter and warmer. From it emerged figures that looked like human shadows, moving gracefully and silently. They were the guardians of the ship, Nabil realized. They watched the explorers without hostility, but with purpose. One of the shadows moved closer to Nabil. A voice formed in his mind, clear and calm. Why have you come? Nabil swallowed. We want to learn. We want to understand your creation. We mean no harm. The shadow studied him for a moment and then gestured toward the next chamber. Nabil understood. The ship would only reveal its secrets if they continued to show respect, intelligence, and courage. Hours passed as they navigated new rooms and solved new puzzles. Each challenge was different. Some required thinking and logic, others required teamwork and trust. Every step made the explorers feel more connected to the ship, as if it recognized their determination. Finally, they reached a central chamber. The walls glowed with energy, and in the center floated a large device shaped like a wheel. Symbols rotated on its surface. Nabil approached it carefully. The ship hummed with power, as if it were awakening after centuries of silence. We are close to understanding it, Nabil said quietly. The ship has waited for us, and now it is ready to show its secrets. Outside, the desert wind whispered across the dunes. Inside, the ship of the dead pulsed with energy. Nabil, Layla, and Amir stood together, ready to face whatever came next. The adventure was only beginning, and they could feel that the ship's true purpose was about to be revealed. The explorers had crossed the first threshold. They had awakened the ship of the dead. What lay ahead would test not only their minds but their courage, humanity, and ability to face the unknown. The central chamber glowed with a soft, humming light. Nabil, Layla, and Amir stood together, feeling the air thrum with energy. The ship had awakened, and its presence was powerful. Every surface pulsed as if it were alive. Nabil could hear the hum in his chest, like a heartbeat. Suddenly, the shadows from the previous chambers appeared again. They were taller now, clearer, and their forms seemed solid yet shimmering. The guardians had come. They moved without sound, their eyes glowing faintly as they studied the explorers. One of the figures stepped forward. Its voice filled the chamber, calm but commanding. "Humans of the future, you have awakened the ship of the dead. Few have the courage and wisdom to reach this place. But courage alone is not enough. You must understand our purpose and prove your worth." Nabil stepped forward slowly, raising his hands in respect. "We wish to learn. We want to understand the ship and its creators. We mean no harm." The guardian paused, its glowing eyes studying Nabil. Then it gestured toward the chamber walls. Symbols appeared, moving in patterns like flowing water. Nabil saw images of humans long ago, building ships, studying the stars, and creating powerful devices. The ship itself was a tool of protection. "This ship," the Guardian said, "was created by humans of the past to defend against a threat from beyond your world. Our people foresaw danger from beings that were stronger and faster. We built this to protect humanity, to carry knowledge and power to ensure survival. You must prove that your kind is worthy of its secrets." Layla looked around in awe. "They built this to protect humans. Not for treasure, not for power, but to defend the species." The Guardian's gaze moved to her. "Yes. You have reached this place because you are curious, brave, and clever. But your true test has only begun." Suddenly, the chamber changed. The walls shifted, opening new pathways. Holographic images appeared, showing challenges that seemed impossible. Some rooms contained puzzles of light and shadow, others required coordination and careful timing. Each challenge tested different skills. Amir swallowed nervously. "This is more than we imagined. How do we even start?" Nabil looked at the patterns carefully. "We need to work together. The ship reacts to our actions. It is alive in a way. If we show intelligence, courage, and cooperation, it will guide us." Their first challenge was a hallway filled with moving platforms. Each platform glowed faintly and hovered above a pit of energy. They had to step carefully, judging the timing and distance. One wrong step could activate a defense system. Nabil moved first, testing each platform. He called instructions to Amir and Layla. Together, they timed their steps, and finally, they crossed safely. The walls shimmered in approval, and the guardians nodded silently. Next, they faced a chamber filled with floating symbols. The symbols formed patterns in the air, moving constantly. Layla realized they represented stars and constellations. "We need to arrange them correctly," she said. "But they move too fast." Nabil studied the patterns. "We must understand the story they tell. Look at the movement, the order. It is a map of history and knowledge. We solve it by seeing the connection, not by force." Together, they guided the symbols into the correct positions. The room pulsed with light, and the symbols froze, glowing steadily. A door opened at the far end, revealing a chamber filled with strange machines. The guardians moved closer, their glowing eyes watching every action. Inside, the explorers saw devices they could not recognize. Some seemed to store energy, others projected light beams that formed complex patterns. Nabil approached a small console and studied it carefully. "These are tools of defense," he said. "The ship was meant to respond to threats automatically. But it also requires intelligent operators, humans who can understand and control it." The guardians stepped closer. Their forms shimmered, and one spoke directly into Nabil's mind. "We tested your courage, your wisdom, and your cooperation. You have passed. Now you must understand the responsibility. The ship is not a weapon to be used lightly. Its power is for defense, for survival, and for the continuation of your species. Amir looked around nervously. It is beautiful, but also terrifying. How could humans of the past build something so advanced? The Guardian's gaze softened. The humans of the past were clever and brave. They understood the universe and the dangers within it. They built the ship of the dead to ensure that humanity could endure. Your kind must show the same wisdom. Only then will its full power be revealed. As they listened, the central device in the chamber began to rise slowly. A holographic map of the stars appeared above it, showing distant worlds and possible threats. The Guardians gestured to the map, and Nabil understood. The ship could travel, carry defenses, and even guide humanity to safety in case of great danger. Layla stepped forward. This is not just a tomb. It is a living library, a shield, a guide. It is a creation meant to protect humans in ways we cannot even imagine. Nabil nodded. And we are the first humans to be trusted with it. We must learn, understand, and protect it. This is bigger than any discovery we have ever made. The Guardians moved toward the walls, blending into the light. One last voice echoed in the chamber. Remember, humans of the future, the ship will test you further. Its power must not be misused. You have been chosen to learn, to prove your worth, and to protect what we created. The next challenges will show the depth of your courage and intelligence. Be ready. The chamber fell silent. The hum of the ship continued, but it felt calmer, as if acknowledging their success. Nabil, Layla, and Amir looked at each other, understanding the weight of what they had achieved. They had faced the Guardians' first tests and had passed. They had proven that humans could be clever, brave, and cooperative. Outside, the desert wind blew softly across the dunes. Inside, the ship of the dead pulsed with life. The explorers had taken the first step into a world that was both ancient and futuristic, a world created by humans long gone, yet designed to protect the humans of the future. Nabil felt a mix of excitement and responsibility. This is just the beginning, he said. We have awakened the ship, and the Guardians have accepted us. Now we must learn everything it can teach. There are dangers, but also opportunities. If we succeed, humanity will have a tool that no other civilization can match. Amir nodded slowly. It is incredible to think that humans from the past were so advanced. And now we are part of their plan. Layla smiled, though her eyes were serious. We must be careful. This ship is powerful, but it requires wisdom. We must prove that our generation can handle it. The three explorers prepared for the next challenges, aware that the ship of the dead held secrets beyond imagination. They were ready to face whatever tests lay ahead, determined to honor the trust of the Guardians and the wisdom of the humans who had built this incredible creation. The journey had become greater than discovery. It was now a test of human spirit, intelligence, and courage. And the ship of the dead waited silently, ready to reveal its next trial. The explorers stepped cautiously into the next chamber. The walls were high, carved from smooth stone that seemed to shimmer under their torchlight. The hum of the ship was louder here, vibrating through the floor and into their feet. Nabil felt the energy in the room as if it were alive. This chamber feels different, Layla whispered. It is warmer, almost welcoming, but also full of power. In the center of the room floated a large device shaped like a sphere. It rotated slowly, casting light across the walls. Around it, panels moved in patterns that seemed random at first, but Nabil noticed something. These panels are part of a puzzle, he said. They respond to pressure and touch. We need to arrange them correctly to proceed. Amir stepped forward nervously. What happens if we make a mistake? Nabil shook his head. I do not know. But we must trust our instincts and work together. The ship responds to intelligence and cooperation, not fear. They examined the panels carefully. Each one had a symbol that matched carvings they had seen earlier in other chambers. Layla noticed that some symbols moved when she touched them, while others remained still. "We need to find a pattern," she said. "It is like a story told with light and symbols." Nabil studied the arrangement. The symbols represent steps, actions, and connections. We must place them in the order of the story the ship is telling us. Together, they moved the panel slowly. Each correct movement caused a soft chime to ring through the chamber. The light from the sphere pulsed brighter as the patterns aligned. After several tense minutes, the last panel clicked into place. The sphere expanded slightly, then emitted a beam of light toward the ceiling. A door opened on the far side of the room. The explorers exchanged relieved looks. "We did it," Amir said softly. "It worked." Nabil nodded. "Yes, but this is only one step. The ship has many tests. Each challenge teaches us something about intelligence, teamwork, and caution." They entered the next chamber. This one was filled with mirrors and shifting beams of light. The floor moved slowly beneath their feet, creating small bridges that appeared and disappeared. Nabil realized that this test required timing and observation. One wrong step could cause them to fall into a pit filled with glowing energy. Layla examined the mirrors. "We need to reflect the beams correctly. They will guide the bridges and open the next path." Amir nodded and carefully adjusted the first mirror. The beam hit the next mirror, and the bridge in front of them shifted slightly. They continued adjusting the mirrors together, each movement precise and deliberate. Nabil directed the process, watching the patterns and anticipating the next step. Finally, the last bridge aligned perfectly, forming a path across the chamber. The explorers crossed safely, their hearts racing. Nabil felt a surge of pride. The ship rewards careful thought and teamwork. We are learning how to communicate with it. The next room was darker, almost completely black. The walls absorbed light, and the hum of the ship grew faint. Nabil realized that this was a test of intuition. They could not rely on sight alone. Layla held her torch high, but the light seemed to vanish. "How do we proceed?" she asked. Nabil closed his eyes for a moment, listening. He felt the hum beneath his feet and the energy in the air. "We must trust our senses and instincts. The ship will guide us if we are careful and patient." Step by step, they moved forward. They placed their hands on the walls, feeling subtle vibrations. Small lights appeared under their touch, forming a path through the darkness. The Guardian's presence was stronger here, watching silently but without interference. When they reached the end of the chamber, the lights coalesced into a soft glow, revealing another door. Nabil smiled. "The ship tests more than our knowledge. It tests our courage and ability to trust ourselves and each other." The next chamber was vast and open. It had a high ceiling carved with constellations that seemed to move slowly. Floating platforms hovered in mid-air, glowing faintly. Nabil realized this challenge required physical coordination as well as mental skill. "We must cross this room carefully," he said. "The platforms will respond to our weight and balance. One wrong move and we may have to start over." Amir stepped forward first. His movements were slow and careful, testing each platform. Layla followed, using her arms to balance herself. Nabil joined them, noting how the platforms reacted to pressure. Together, they moved across the room, timing their steps and communicating constantly. Halfway across, a platform shifted unexpectedly. Amir stumbled but held on. Layla grabbed his arm and steadied him. "We must watch each other," she said. "The ship tests not only intelligence but also cooperation." Nabil nodded. "Yes. It rewards those who work as a team." They reached the other side safely. The chamber pulsed with light, and the constellations above formed a new pattern. A door opened at the far end, revealing the final room of the section. This room was filled with a soft, warm glow. In the center floated a cube of light, spinning slowly. Nabil approached it carefully. The guardians appeared, more solid than before, their forms glowing faintly. "You have shown intelligence, courage, and teamwork," one guardian said. "You have learned how to communicate with the ship. Now you must understand its purpose. The ship of the dead is more than a creation of the past. It is a tool for the future. Its technology and knowledge are meant to protect your species from threats you may not yet understand." Layla looked at the cube. "It is beautiful. And powerful. But how do we control it?" The guardian gestured to Nabil and Amir. "Through wisdom, careful thought, and respect. The ship responds to those who understand that power must be used responsibly. You have passed the first stages. More challenges await, but now you know that humans are capable of learning, adapting, and working together." Nabil placed his hand on the cube. A surge of energy flowed through him, filling his mind with images of the past and glimpses of possible futures. He saw humans building the ship, defending worlds, and creating knowledge that could guide future generations. Amir and Layla joined him. Together, they felt the connection, understanding that the ship's true power was knowledge, teamwork, and courage. They had learned the first lessons of the ship of the dead. The guardians stepped back, their forms fading into the light. "Remember," one voice echoed, "the ship tests all who enter. Its secrets are not given lightly. You must continue to prove your worth, for the challenges ahead will require all your courage, intelligence, and heart." The chamber grew silent, but the glow of the cube remained. Nabil, Layla, and Amir exchanged determined looks. They had passed the first major tests, showing the guardians that humans could face danger, solve complex problems, and work together. Nabil spoke quietly. "This is just the beginning. The ship has much to teach, and we must be ready for the challenges ahead. We are learning, growing, and proving that humanity is capable of more than we imagined." Layla nodded. "We have crossed the first threshold, but the journey is far from over. We must stay focused, clever, and brave." Amir smiled, his nervousness replaced by determination. "We can do this. Together, we can face whatever the ship has in store." The explorers prepared for the next stage of their journey, aware that the ship of the dead was alive, watching, and waiting. They had proven their abilities, but the greatest challenges were still ahead. The desert outside remained quiet, but inside, the ship pulsed with life, guiding humans toward knowledge, power, and the future. The explorers moved into the next chamber, their footsteps echoing softly on the smooth stone floor. The hum of the ship of the dead grew stronger, filling the air with energy. Nabil felt the power of the ship around them, like it was guiding their movements. Layla and Amir stayed close, eyes wide with wonder as they studied the walls and glowing symbols. "This room feels different," Layla whispered. "The symbols, they are moving, telling a story." Nabil stepped forward, brushing his hand over the carvings. Images shifted into patterns showing strange creatures and massive ships moving through the stars. Humans were depicted facing these beings, building machines, and protecting their worlds. Nabil's heart raced. He realized that this chamber revealed something important. "These are not myths," he said softly. "The ship of the dead was built to defend against something dangerous. Humans of the past faced threats from beyond our planet." Amir frowned. "Threats from where? Are these aliens?" Nabil nodded slowly. "It looks like it. The carvings show beings that were stronger, faster, and more advanced than humans. But humans fought cleverly and built the ship to survive. This is incredible. They predicted threats we cannot yet imagine." A low pulse of light spread through the room. In the center, a device floated into the air, shaped like a crystal sphere. The symbols on the walls connected to it, projecting holographic images of distant star systems. Nabil realized that the ship was a living archive, containing information about alien threats and ways to protect humanity. Layla stepped closer. "This is more than defense. It is a guide. They wanted future humans to understand, prepare, and act wisely. Nabil touched the sphere carefully. A vision filled his mind. He saw humans from the past building massive ships, traveling between stars, and learning about alien civilizations. He saw battles, strategies, and the creation of the ship of the dead itself. It was a machine of protection, capable of travel and defense, designed to be controlled by humans who were intelligent, brave, and wise. Amir looked uneasy. It is amazing, but why hide it? Why not use it back then? The guardians appeared silently around them, their glowing forms solid yet calm. One stepped forward, speaking in a voice that echoed in the chamber. The humans of the past understood that power without wisdom is dangerous. They hid the ship to protect it and to ensure that only humans who proved themselves worthy could control it. You have awakened it, and now you must understand its purpose fully. Nabil nodded. We are ready. We want to learn. The central device projected a holographic map showing multiple star systems. In each system, glowing markers indicated previous conflicts and areas of danger. The Guardians explained that these were signs of alien civilizations that had once attempted to dominate others. Humans of the past had studied them carefully, learning their strategies and weaknesses. The ship of the dead was designed to store this knowledge and provide tools for defense if such threats returned. Layla traced one of the glowing paths with her finger. They built this to protect Earth and humanity. They prepared for a war we have never known. Yes, said the Guardian. Your ancestors foresaw danger from beyond your world. They built technology and machines to defend against it. The ship is not just a tomb or a relic. It is a system, a weapon, and a library. It contains the knowledge and power needed to protect humans from invaders who may return. Nabil felt a mixture of fear and awe. This is bigger than anything we imagined. Humans of the past were clever, brave, and far-sighted. And now, the responsibility is ours. The chamber shifted, revealing a new path. The floor slid open to form a staircase leading downward. Nabil and the team descended carefully. The walls glowed faintly, showing more carvings of battles, alien ships, and humans using advanced machines to defend themselves. It became clear that humans of the past were not merely survivors, they were strategists, inventors, and protectors. As they moved deeper, another challenge appeared. A large chamber held a holographic interface with controls for the ship itself. The Guardians gestured toward it. Nabil realized that this was a test of understanding. They had to show that humans of the present could think strategically, plan carefully, and act responsibly. Layla studied the controls. It is like a command center, but more advanced than anything we have ever seen. We have to figure out how it works. Nabil examined the holographic interface. The ship responds to intention, thought, and precision. It will not accept reckless commands. We must demonstrate wisdom and coordination. Amir hesitated. What if we fail? Can we harm ourselves or the ship? The Guardians' voices were calm. The ship protects itself. You may fail the test, but it will not allow harm. It will guide you, but you must think and act wisely. Nabil nodded. Then we proceed carefully. This is not just about curiosity. This is about understanding and responsibility. Together, they manipulated the controls, moving holographic representations of ships and energy fields. They simulated defense strategies against the alien forces depicted on the walls. Each correct sequence caused the ship to hum more powerfully, and the Guardians observed silently. Nabil realized that the ship was evaluating them, judging their understanding of strategy, planning, and cooperation. Hours passed. The explorers worked tirelessly, learning to coordinate movements, redirect energy, and manage defenses. Every success increased their confidence, and every mistake became a lesson. They began to understand the brilliance of the humans who had created the ship. Their foresight, intelligence, and careful planning had produced a system capable of protecting generations yet to come. Finally, the holographic interface projected a final image. It showed Earth, surrounded by alien threats, and highlighted a network of ships, defenses, and knowledge points. The Guardians spoke clearly. You have demonstrated understanding, intelligence, and caution. You see the threat and the solution. You are ready to wield the knowledge and power of the ship of the dead, but always remember, responsibility is greater than strength. You must use this gift wisely. Nabil felt a wave of pride and humility. We understand, he said. We will honor the wisdom of those who built this ship. We will protect humanity as they intended. Layla smiled, though her eyes were serious. We have much to learn, but this is a beginning. We now know why humans of the past were so remarkable. Their legacy is alive in this ship. Amir nodded. And it is up to us to continue their work. To be clever, careful, and brave. The Guardians stepped back, their forms blending with the glow of the chamber. The hum of the ship continued, steady and strong. The explorers felt connected to the knowledge and power of the past, understanding that humans had always been capable of great ingenuity and courage. Nabil turned to the others. This chamber has shown us the reason the ship exists. Humans created it to defend, to guide, and to protect. We are now part of that legacy. We must be ready for the challenges ahead, and we must prove that our generation can live up to the example set by the humans of the past. The team left the chamber, moving deeper into the ship of the dead. The path ahead promised more knowledge, more challenges, and tests of character. They had seen the threat that had once faced humans, understood the purpose of the ship, and realized the responsibility they carried. Outside, the desert remained silent. Inside, the ship pulsed with energy, alive with knowledge, ready to teach and challenge. Nabil, Layla, and Amir felt both awe and determination. They were not just explorers. They were inheritors of a human legacy, chosen to learn, to understand, and to protect. The journey had grown beyond discovery. It was now a mission of understanding and responsibility. The ship of the dead had revealed its secret. Humans had always been clever, brave, and prepared to face the unknown. And now, it was the present humans' turn to prove they were worthy. The explorers entered the next chamber with caution. The air felt different here, thick with energy that made their hair stand on end. The walls glowed faintly, displaying scenes of humans facing difficult choices, conflicts, and moments of courage. Nabil realized that the Guardian's final test was not just about intelligence or skill. It was about character. This room, it is showing decisions humans made long ago, Layla said softly. Choices that changed lives and history. Amir looked uneasy. Do we have to make choices too? Nabil nodded. I think this is the final test. We must show that humans are not just clever and strong, but also wise and compassionate. The Guardians want to see our judgment and our hearts. As they moved forward, the chamber shifted. The walls displayed illusions of danger. In one corner, a holographic village was under attack by a strange alien force. Humans ran in panic, and buildings collapsed. Nabil felt a pang of fear. The scene was vivid, almost real. The Guardian's voice echoed. Humans of the present, you must act. Show wisdom, courage, and compassion. Protect what is important, even when the path is difficult. Layla stepped forward. We need to save them. But how? Nabil studied the room carefully. The ship reacts to thought and action. We must act intelligently, not recklessly. Focus on solutions, not just reactions. They moved toward the holographic village. Using the ship's interface, Nabil activated protective barriers over the buildings. Layla redirected energy to shield the people from the attacks. Amir coordinated the holographic humans, giving them paths to safety. Slowly, the village was saved. The aliens vanished, and the scene faded. The chamber shifted again, showing a massive battle in space. Human ships faced an overwhelming alien fleet. Weapons flared, explosions shook the holograms, and fear threatened to paralyze the explorers. Nabil took a deep breath. We must plan carefully. Think strategically. Panic will only cause failure. Layla and Amir nodded. They used the ship's controls to simulate human tactics. They formed formations, predicted enemy movements, and acted to minimize harm while defending their forces. Slowly, the human fleet gained ground. The battle ended with minimal loss and maximum protection. The Guardians appeared around them, glowing softly. You have shown intelligence, courage, and compassion, one said. You understand that strength alone is not enough. Wisdom and careful thought are required. You are ready to wield the ship of the dead's full potential. Amir let out a relieved breath. That was intense. I thought we might fail. Nabil smiled. It was not just about winning. It was about showing we can think, plan, and act responsibly. The ship tests more than skill. It tests our hearts. The chamber shifted one last time. A soft light filled the space, and a new device rose from the floor. It was shaped like a large crystal, pulsing with energy. The Guardians gestured toward it. This is the core of the ship of the dead, the Guardian explained. It contains knowledge, power, and guidance. Only those who demonstrate wisdom, courage, and humanity may access it fully. Nabil approached carefully. The crystal responded to his presence, glowing brighter. He placed his hand on its surface and felt a surge of understanding. Visions filled his mind, humans building ships, studying alien technology, and creating systems to protect Earth. He saw strategies, technologies, and possibilities for the future. Layla and Amir joined him, placing their hands on the crystal. Together, they felt the connection. Knowledge flowed through them, not just facts, but understanding. They understood the dangers humans once faced and how intelligence, courage, and compassion saved them. The Guardians' voices echoed around them. You have completed the final test. You have shown that humans are capable of wisdom, cooperation, and courage. You are worthy of controlling the ship of the dead and using its knowledge to protect your species. Amir looked around in awe. It is incredible. The humans of the past were so clever. And now we can use their work to defend our world. Nabil nodded slowly. But we must remember the responsibility. This is not a weapon to be used lightly. It is a tool, a guide, and a protector. The ship's power is only as good as the wisdom of those who control it. Layla smiled, though her eyes were serious. We have learned so much, but we must continue to learn. This knowledge is a gift, and we must honor it with careful thought and action. The Guardians began to fade, their forms blending into the light. One final voice echoed. Remember, humans of the present, the ship of the dead tests all who enter. You have passed, but vigilance, wisdom, and courage must continue. Protect what is important, guide your species, and use this knowledge to face the unknown. Nabil, Layla, and Amir looked at each other, feeling the weight of their achievement. They had faced challenges of intelligence, skill, and morality. They had proven that humans could rise to the occasion, think critically, and act responsibly. The crystal in the center of the chamber pulsed gently, its light reflecting off the walls. Nabil stepped back, taking a deep breath. We are ready, he said. We understand the ship's purpose, and we are prepared to use its knowledge wisely. Amir nodded. It is amazing to think that humans of the past created something so advanced and so thoughtful. We must make them proud. Layla looked at the glowing crystal. The ship of the dead has waited for us. Now it is our turn to protect, learn, and act. We have proven ourselves, but we must continue to be clever, brave, and wise. Nabil placed his hand on the crystal one last time, feeling the connection fully. The ship hummed, stronger now, as if acknowledging their success. It had accepted them as worthy, recognizing the intelligence, courage, and humanity they had demonstrated. The explorers felt a deep sense of purpose. They were no longer just humans exploring an ancient relic. They were inheritors of a human legacy, chosen to protect knowledge, defend against threats, and guide their species. The chamber quieted, the hum of the ship steady and calm. Outside, the desert remained silent. Inside, the ship of the dead was alive, connected to the explorers, ready to act under their guidance. Nabil turned to Layla and Amir. This is not the end. The challenges will continue, but we have proven ourselves. The Guardians have accepted us. Now we can truly understand the ship and its purpose. Layla smiled. We are ready. Together, we can face whatever comes next. Amir nodded. It is our responsibility now. We must be careful, clever, and brave. We must honor the humans of the past and protect our world. The three explorers stood together, united by purpose and determination. They had passed the final test, demonstrating wisdom, courage, and humanity. The ship of the dead awaited their next actions, ready to reveal its secrets fully and to guide humans toward safety, knowledge, and strength. The adventure had reached a new level. The explorers had proven themselves worthy of the Guardians' trust. The ship of the dead was now theirs to understand, to protect, and to use wisely. Humanity's legacy was alive, and the explorers were ready to continue its story. The final chamber opened before the explorers like a sky of light. The walls glowed with energy, casting a soft, golden illumination over the entire space. Nabil, Layla, and Amir stepped forward, feeling the pulse of the ship of the dead beneath their feet. Every step echoed with power and anticipation. This is it, Nabil whispered. The heart of the ship. In the center of the chamber floated a massive crystal, larger than any of them. It spun slowly, radiating warmth and energy. The air hummed with life, vibrating through their bodies and minds. Nabil approached the crystal cautiously, holding his hand slightly above it. As he did, the light intensified, wrapping around him like a gentle wind. Layla and Amir joined him, each placing a hand on the crystal. The room filled with a soft, melodic hum that resonated with their hearts. The ship was fully alive, and it recognized them. Knowledge, power, and understanding flowed through them, but not like a flood. It came piece by piece, as if the ship was teaching them to think, plan, and act wisely. The Guardians appeared one last time, their glowing forms more solid than before. One spoke clearly, with a voice both gentle and strong. You have proven yourselves worthy. You have passed every test, shown courage, intelligence, and compassion. Now you may activate the ship of the dead fully and take responsibility for its purpose. Use it to guide, protect, and defend humanity. Nabil nodded slowly. We understand. We will use it wisely. We will honor the humans of the past and protect the future. A ripple of light spread across the crystal. Panels and mechanisms inside the chamber came alive, forming holographic displays of Earth, nearby star systems, and distant galaxies. Symbols and diagrams illustrated energy flows, defenses, and possible threats. The explorers realized that the ship was a combination of knowledge, strategy, and technology, far beyond anything humans of their time had imagined. Layla studied one of the displays. This shows alien worlds. It shows threats humans have never faced. But it also shows ways to protect ourselves. We can learn from it. Amir's eyes widened. It is incredible. Humans of the past thought ahead so far. They built this to survive and help future generations. Nabil smiled faintly, though he felt the weight of responsibility. And now it is our turn. The ship of the dead is alive, but it needs guidance. We must be careful, thoughtful, and courageous in using it. The crystal shifted, projecting a holographic path through the desert outside. Nabil understood that the ship was ready to move. Slowly, the massive structure began to rise. Sand fell from its hull as it lifted above the dunes. The explorers could see the ship in its full form, larger and more magnificent than they had ever imagined. Its ancient walls shimmered with energy, symbols glowing brightly as it moved. Layla stepped back in awe. It is alive. It moves like it has a mind of its own. Amir's voice trembled with excitement. And we are the ones controlling it. We are the first humans to command it in thousands of years. Nabil looked at the glowing controls inside the ship. It is not just a weapon. It is a protector, a guide, and a symbol of human ingenuity. We must remember that its power is great, but so is our responsibility. The Guardians nodded in approval, their forms slowly dissolving into light. You have learned well. Humanity has proven that it can be clever, brave, and compassionate. Carry this knowledge forward. Protect your species, and honor what has been created. With a gentle vibration, the ship began to move across the desert. Sand fell away, revealing the full magnitude of the structure. Nabil, Layla, and Amir guided it carefully, learning to operate its systems. The crystal in the center pulsed with energy, reacting to their decisions, movements, and thoughts. It was alive, but it trusted them. As they moved, the ship projected holographic scenarios of threats that humans might face. Strange alien vessels appeared, advanced in technology but limited in creativity. Nabil realized that humans, with ingenuity and courage, could outsmart almost any opponent. The ship was designed to amplify human potential, not replace it. Layla adjusted a control, redirecting energy to protective shields around the ship. We are learning, she said. The ship adapts to our actions. It responds to human thought, not just commands. Amir smiled. It is amazing. Humans of the past built something that can help us survive and thrive. And now we are part of that legacy. Nabil nodded. Yes. This is the greatest gift we could have received. But it is also a responsibility. We must use the ship wisely and carefully. Its purpose is to defend and protect, not to dominate. As the sun began to set over the desert, the ship of the dead rose higher, its hull glowing with the last rays of sunlight. From the sky, the golden sands below seemed small compared to the power of the ancient creation. Nabil felt a surge of pride and determination. Humans of the past had shown courage, intelligence, and foresight. Now it was the present humans' turn to honor that legacy. The ship moved steadily toward the horizon, guided by the explorers' careful decisions. The crystal pulsed with each thought, each choice, and each act of responsibility. Nabil realized that the ship of the dead was more than a relic of the past. It was a living testament to human ingenuity, a symbol of what humans could achieve when courage, intelligence, and morality guided their actions. Layla looked out over the desert. We are part of something bigger than ourselves. The ship has chosen us to continue a story that began thousands of years ago. We must be careful, but also bold. Amir nodded. And we must teach others. Humanity must learn what we have discovered, and use it wisely to protect our world. Nabil placed his hand once more on the crystal. The ship responded instantly, glowing brighter and vibrating gently. He could feel the connection to the humans of the past, to the Guardians, and to the future. This was more than power. It was guidance, wisdom, and responsibility combined. The ship of the dead rose above the desert, shining in the golden light. Its presence was a reminder that humans were capable of great creativity, courage, and intelligence. It had been hidden for centuries, waiting for those worthy to awaken it. Now, it was alive and ready to protect humanity, guided by humans who had proven themselves brave, clever, and wise. Nabil, Layla, and Amir stood together in awe. The journey had begun as a search for a myth. It had become a test of human potential, a discovery of ancient wisdom, and a responsibility for the future. They had passed every challenge, learned every lesson, and awakened the power of the ship of the dead. The Guardian's final words echoed in their minds. Humanity has proven its worth. The ship of the dead now belongs to you. Use its knowledge and power wisely, for the safety and growth of your species. Remember, courage, wisdom, and cooperation are the keys to survival. As night fell over the desert, the ship's glow illuminated the sands below. Nabil, Layla, and Amir guided it carefully, feeling the hum of energy beneath their feet. They were no longer just explorers. They were protectors, students of the past, and leaders of the future. Humanity had risen to meet its challenges, and the ship of the dead was a symbol of that enduring spirit. The adventure had reached its climax, but the story of humans and the ship of the dead was only beginning. Across the desert and beyond the stars, the ship waited, alive and ready to defend, teach, and inspire. And the explorers, guided by courage, intelligence, and morality, were ready to face whatever the universe might bring. The ship of the dead had awakened. Humanity had proven itself worthy. And the future, bright and full of possibilities, lay ahead.